Hello and welcome to another episode of the Just Click podcast. I'm your host Jordan, here with my co-host Justin.
And today, here we are at the NTU building. As you can see, we are no longer in the office, and that's because we are here to see two very special guests. And we're actually gonna go and see them now.
And here we are at NTU's new business building, the Gaia. This place is absolutely incredible. It smells like a house. It really just smells like a home for someone. And honestly, I really just want to stay here forever instead of that other office. So, but whatever it is, let's Justin, I want to talk about something. Do you listen to the radio at all? Do you even know what a radio is?
Yes.
Really? When's the last time you listened to one?
Sometime within the last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, at least listen to it. I haven't listened to a radio for a very long time, but for us, here we are with our main guest here, Terence, who is a returning guest from, you may remember him from one of the first few episodes. But alongside him, we have DJ Alan from UFM 1003. Please introduce yourself. Terence, can you just tell us, you've already introduced yourself, can you just quickly tell us a bit about why we're here at the NTU? What's your relationship with this place?
Oh, hi everyone, I'm Terence from iClick. So today we're at a very special place at NTU, the Gaia building. So we're just here to shoot another episode of our podcast.
Terence, why have you ever been to the NTU before?
Oh yes, I've been here many times during my poly internship days till when I was a vendor for NTU. So I come here for frequent meetings.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Alan, how about you? Can you quickly just introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. Thanks for inviting me to this podcast or video, right? Hi, my name is DJ Alan. I'm a weekend DJ of UFM 100.3. I think it's really cool because we have two Gen Zs here just next to me, and I was like, I was probably chatting with Terence earlier on, like, do the youngsters listen to radio nowadays? And I think Justin was just saying 10 years ago, yeah. But I think maybe it's time to re-listen. Yeah, but really nice to be here.
You're the one that's really helping us be here at the NTU. Can you tell me why are you related? How are you related to the NTU at all?
Right. In fact, I am taking a course with NTU now. It's the Masters of Media and Communications. I'm a full-time student now. So, well, since we have a new building in NTU, I thought that might be a good idea to also bring you guys here and to experience like, the woody smell as well. Yeah.
Terence, what do you think about this building so far?
Well, I think it's fantastic. I think it's very sustainable. We always talk about sustainability nowadays. So if you look at the architecture, the way the whole building is being constructed, I thought it's very nice, aesthetically pleasing, and I'm sure it's made out of a lot of recyclable materials.
I think this is also the place where I met Terence.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did y'all meet?
It was through, I would say, business, networking, and opportunity as well. So Terence was one of our clients back then. Yeah, and it goes a long way. Yeah.
Oh, and do you mind elaborating maybe a bit more on the story of like both of your relationships together?
We actually worked on a, you can say like a digital marketing project for one of, NTU is one of the clients, and this was like a few years back, but I think the friendship didn't stop there, and we have been keeping in contact even till now. Yeah, so when Terence told me that, hey, you are going to shoot a video here, and I'm here. Yeah.
Terence, what was working with him like from first time?
It was, Alan's a very easygoing person to work with. So, from the start of the work to the end, it was very pleasant. Yeah.
So we've already heard a lot about you, but Adam, we don't know too much about you. But you're most known, at least to us, you're just a part-time DJ, weekend DJ. Can you tell me how did all of that happen? What is it like being? How did you enter the industry? What is it like being in that industry?
Oh, this is a good question. In fact, I think to be a radio DJ in Singapore is not that easy, but also for myself, at least I participated in this contest or like a talent hunt many years back. Yeah, so that also opened doors for me to enter this industry. But I think passion is the key. Yeah, because I would say for those people working in the media industry, passion is very important. Yeah.
Wait, so then you mentioned that you actually got this sort of job through a talent contest.
Yeah.
So were you always comfortable with doing like whatever a radio DJ does even before that, or how did it like? How do you like get scouted by the talent
Right.
contest? Yeah.
I think at first it was very hard. It was quite daunting, especially for newcomers. You had to present news, and you really had to engage with listeners who are listening to you real time. Yeah, so it is not like a typical conversation, but you have to make it natural. Yeah, so that might be the challenge for newcomers. Yeah, but I think as time goes by, you will feel that, well, you get more confident. Yeah.
So you're as a DJ, you're kind of not in front of an audience per se. You're not in a live audience, but you have an audience that is listening to you. You know is an audience out
Right.
there. And Terence, you're, as someone who is in charge of a company, you have to speak to an audience sometimes, maybe like a group of people at least. How confident are how did you build up this confidence in the first place to speak in front of an audience? Maybe you first, Terence.
Yeah, I think I would say maybe practice makes perfect. You know, no one can be, you know, instantly comfortable in front of a group of people. So I think if you practice and then you get the hang of it.
Well, you, Alan, were you always comfortable in the first place speaking to an audience?
In fact, this is a fun fact. I actually had stage fright when I was a student. Yeah. Do you guys still have stage fright?
Oh, always. Not even just in front of an audience, but just even if it's one teacher.
Sometimes, yeah, especially in year one.
I think it's not surprising to know that. So maybe that's a tip for those of you who are still struggling with stage fright, right? I think one of the tips would be to just treat every conversation as though you're talking to a close friend. Yeah, and you don't need to give yourself extra stress. Yeah, just like we're doing this podcast now. I mean, it's just like an everyday conversation, right? Yeah. So just make yourself comfortable, and if you are going to do something that's more formal, I think rehearsing is very important.
Do you have a different sort of? Do you always get scared when it's a different form of being in front of people? Like one is on air, one is being recorded, one is maybe in front of an audience. Do you get nervous at each time?
I think for now no, but when I first started, you know, be it whether is it for radio or what, I think one of the challenges I faced was how do people perceive me? Yeah, including my facial expressions and also how I stand, or even, you know, my movements and whatnot. Yeah. So to answer your question, I think the most important thing is really to be natural. Yeah, and also you know, let's say if I'm hosting a road show, I will go to the venue beforehand to see how the layout is like. I will roughly know how much space I have when it comes to walking, you know, yeah, or even the kind of things, the crowd, those people who are there, what kind of things should I say to kind of like capture their attention. Yeah.
And all this, it takes experience, like you mentioned, to find out what the audience would like. And is there any case where you said anything which really did not hit with anyone?
Oh, okay. Well, that's a very good question. In fact, not all performances or events might be, you know, not every day is, you know, how should I put it? It's not a good day every day, right? Correct? Yeah. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not that ideal. So I think just tell yourself, don't, you know, give yourself extra stress. It's okay to be not okay sometimes. I think that's a common saying, right? Yeah. So just be yourself. And if you said something wrong, I think apologize. But of course, if you are speaking on radio, national, like this kind of platforms, you really have to be conscious of what you say. Yeah.
Terence, what is your experience speaking in front of an audience, and I guess like this in front of a camera?
I would say in my previous job, I do have some experience talking to a group of people. Could be a small group, 5 to 10, to slightly bigger group, maybe 50 to 100. I think that's where I really learn while I'm practicing. Yeah, I think that helps to set the tone, set the base for future like public speaking talks.
Do you find a camera or I guess even a camera? Do you find that very different from being in front of an audience itself?
Yeah, I would say so, because in front of an audience, there is no second take. If you say something wrong, you have to think on your feet and try to get out of that situation. But of course, in front of a camera, you still have the time to do some edits. Yeah, so it's slightly different. Yeah, but I think the general feel of talking to a group of people is about the same, I would say. Yeah.
How do you get out of tough situations, Alan, when, let's say you're on the show, maybe you said something a bit wrong, or you said something that you just weren't, you completely missed over something that you were supposed to say and so on. What do you do?
For me, I will use another joke, to kind of like replace with that awkwardness, I think. Yeah, but I think it comes with experience as well. Yeah, so if you're talking about radio, maybe not engage for a longer time. Yeah, maybe a shorter duration is okay. Yeah, but as time goes by, if you are able to connect with people, then you can share more, I feel. Yeah.
Alright, so now you've spoken quite a bit about how it is on radio, but can you just make it even clearer for the rest of us here? What do you do on your radio show?
Oh, okay. So I usually host on weekends, right? And my show revolves around lifestyle segments, and I mean it ranges from food, entertainment. Sometimes I share about the latest music, right? I don't know whether you guys listen to Mando Pop, but maybe K-pop, I guess. Okay, maybe who's your Mando Pop like favorite?
What is Mando Pop?
You say what is Mando Pop? How about you, Justin?
Isn't that the like Mandarin?
Yeah, Mandarin songs. Like who's your favorite singer? Eric Chow, maybe?
I would go.
Jay?
I don't know, like JJ Lin, yeah.
Oh, JJ Lin. Yeah, okay. Maybe it's time to listen.
No. If I listen, it'd just be white noise.
So speaking of that, in fact, Terence was also one of my guests for one of these weekend segments called the Weekend Cafe. In Chinese, in Mandarin, we call it 周末咖啡厅. So for that segment, I usually will get my interviewees from all walks of life, right? It could be like students like yourselves, or it could be successful entrepreneurs like Terence. Yeah, and then Terence, do you still remember what we talked about?
Yeah, we talk about web design development.
Yeah.
How we can help the SMEs to use e-commerce to get more sales. Then we also talk about utilizing digital marketing tactics, strategies like SEO, SEM to get more traffic. Again, increase their sales. Yeah.
In fact, after the episode, many listeners texted in to ask what's the benefit of having like websites or to engage in this kind of social media marketing solutions or digital marketing solutions. So I think this is to benefit people, and I think it's a great thing to do. Yeah.
Wait, Terence, so you actually been on air before?
Yeah, that's right. With 100.3. Yeah.
Okay, then how would you describe the overall experience of everything?
I would say I'm a little bit nervous then. Yeah, because so it was my first time.
Right?
Yeah, my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit nervous. But I thought after I heard the whole recording, I thought it was okay. Yeah.
That's the Chinese one, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had to tell him beforehand that 95% of the conversation must be in Mandarin, and I'm thinking that Jordan must be thinking like, oh no, I have to speak in Mandarin
I
like
think
the whole time.
I'm as bad as Jordan in Chinese.
Really?
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, so one thing that actually happened in my Chinese oral. So for my O levels Chinese oral, I had one question which was, what is one thing that you really want to try?
Okay.
So then you know the story, right?
Yeah, I've heard
So
this
you
one.
okay. So one thing I really wanted to try was bungee jumping. So then So then what happened was like in my head I was like, what is bungee jumping in Chinese? So I just did nothing. I just directly translated in my head what I thought was bungee jumping.
Oh,
So
no.
I told the Chinese the O level examiner, 我很想做的东西啊，我很想去跳楼。
Which
Did you really
translates,
say that?
which translates to
Which translates
I
to-
want to jump off a building.
Yep. So yeah, right after I said that.
What did the examiner say? I'm really curious.
Right after that, right, like I wanted to continue talking, but then the examiner paused me and told me, 你说跳楼是说什么意思啊？ Something along that lines.
Okay, okay.
Then after she asked me that, it suddenly connected in my head. Oh wait, so that's what it means. Then like it registered. Just as I said, oh I want to talk about bungee jumping.
Mm.
I just realized, oh wait, 跳楼 is jump off building.
How do you salvage that situation then?
I did not. So what happened after that is I burst out laughing lor.
Oh,
And
wow.
I caused the two examiners to also burst out laughing, and my oral actually went overtime because every time the examiner looked at me, she kept on laughing again.
Right.
Mm.
But you did pass.
I did
right?
pass.
You did pass.
I'm very proud. I'm actually the most proud. The one thing I'm most proud in is
Yeah.
for my Chinese O level, I got a C6.
Oh,
Yes, that was the first pass I had in 4 years.
Oh,
that's not too bad, right?
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah.
that's the positive thing to come out of it. Yeah. But now, do you know what is bungee jumping? Let's
Hello.
give it a try.
跳楼自杀咯。
That's-
No.
that's-
Okay,
that's-
wait, Jordan, why don't you give it a try?
Me?
Tell our audience here, what is bungee jumping?
What
Try.
is- I can't even think of anything. I only know the word 跳, which is jump. What is like a string?
You're 33% right. Oh, there's is 3-word phrase.
Yeah.
So 跳 is the last one.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take 33%. That's more.
换
That's
地
more,
跳。
that's more than
not-
I've ever
not
gotten
really.
for Chinese.
Actually, what is bungee jumping in
It's
Chinese?
绑紧跳.
绑紧跳.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah.
Never
So it's
went
like
up to that.
literally tightening of the rope and then you jump.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think maybe one way to help you, if you're still really interested in improving on Mandarin, could be to listen to the radio, right?
If I listen to a Chinese radio,
Yeah.
it'll just become static. Like you can't. If I put on a Chinese radio, I won't understand 90% of what they're saying. Not only will they not be speaking something I understand, but they will be too fast for my comprehension. When I read
A passage. Yeah.
you read it character by character. You don't read it phrase by phrase.
Oh.
You really do read it one by one. I have no idea what I'm reading though.
Right.
So I think mine's a bit too far gone. This guy says hope. C6 is good. I'm too far gone. But Chinese radio
I
is
started my O level compo with 一个风和日丽的早晨.
Mm.
You cannot go to my level.
Like there's this standard form of
Yeah.
writing.
Mm.
But I'm just curious, yeah. Like we are talking about platforms, right? Like listening to music and all. As Gen Zs, you know, what would be your typical like way or how do you listen to like music now on what kind of platforms? Since you don't listen to radio, right?
okay. For me, when I'm do you mean traveling or do you mean at?
It could be
in-
just on the go, like day to day.
If it is at home,
Yeah.
I usually just stick to YouTube because YouTube has any and everything at all.
Yeah.
If we're going out, often I don't listen to music because I don't want to pay much for a something like a subscription like Spotify.
Yeah.
What I do is I listen to if I am listening to things, sometimes I listen to things on Apple Podcasts. Ironically enough, I listen to podcasts because those are free. I don't want to spend too much on my music itself.
Actually, what you have just said is like a spot on because for now, most of the radio DJs they even have to be very active on social media in order to reach out to a larger crowd. That includes podcasts, as what I think Jordan mentioned earlier, and we also have to curate content on social media as well. So sometimes, for myself, right, if I get to taste good food, I may snap a picture. I can recommend it on air, but sometimes voice isn't enough. So I think as digital natives, we want to be activated by all other senses, such as our eyeballs, right? So we will have to take pictures of all those food and upload it on Instagram to even share with our listeners. So recently, I've also done a few collaborations with a few brands, including F&B ones. Yeah, so there may be some food tasting sessions, or they may give you some kind of like, oh, it's a new shop or it's a new store that wants you to go and just have my honest review about their food. Yeah.
When you get brands coming to you to try it, why would they come to you as a radio, to the radio itself, for you to try food, when food is usually something you want to see? Why wouldn't they go to something like a influencer on YouTube or a blogger?
Actually, this question was asked by one of my friends recently, and I think that's a very good question. I think trustworthy, like media being like, people tend to think that what the media says might be, credible. So we don't say things that are not true. Yeah, but of course, if it's not nice, for me at least, I would say that it's not nice. I wouldn't bluff about it. Yeah. So if you ask me, like as opposed to why they don't like engage a KOL, right, to do that. In fact, KOLs are still doing it, but I just feel that we are friends to the listeners. I mean, if you know what I'm referring to. So they think that there's a form of connection. Yeah. For KOLs, if you find that this person is like talking about food, you just follow him or her. But the connection is not there. It's just like if you think of food, I will go and look for this person, right? But I think for radio DJs, we are slightly different. Yeah, they can share their experience and even tell me what to try sometimes. Yeah, just to share something interesting, this really happened to me. Like a month ago, I got diagnosed with stomach flu. Yeah, and it was really bad. Yeah, and I couldn't, my appetite wasn't good, and I shared this on radio. And guess what? They told me what to eat for my dinner, and I don't know, I won't say the food, okay, but they gave me options or recommendations rather. And after the show, I went with another colleague, another weekend DJ, and we went there to do like a review for free. Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah, pretty much. Just that the parking, yeah. Yeah.
Did it help with your stomach flu then?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was comforting. Yeah. And I didn't really think that, oh, you mean I can eat this if you have a stomach flu? Yeah. If 你们有吃猪杂汤吗？
有。
Yeah. So, yeah, that's one of them. I mean, just say that. Yeah.
Okay, so
Not
that one's kind of not it wasn't an advertisement. They were just telling you, and then you voluntarily are.
No, I told them that
Yeah.
I was unwell. In fact, I was a little bit unwell during the hosting period. Yeah.
So
During my shift. Yeah.
these sort of things, when I just want to quickly ask, how do radio ads get made? I guess, like, how do they what is the process like, and also what is the difference between an ad read and something like you talking about, or how good you think it is and all that?
I think the full-time DJs are mainly involved in this, but because sometimes we still have to read certain things during our shift. So one example was covered by you earlier on, which we call it live reads. Yeah, so some brands, they collaborate with us and they actually buy radio advertisements. In radio, we call it radio spots. Yeah, so for specific designated timings, we have to mention about their brand and all. Yeah, so this is something that I would say is the magic of radio. Something like a friend talking to you about a brand. For instance, do you guys love bubble tea? Yeah. Yeah. So if a radio talks to you about bubble tea, and you will feel that it's like a friend talking to you. But if you watch it on YouTube or if you watch it on like TV, that will be, I think the feeling is different. Yeah. So if you ask me whether radio ads work, I think it still works to a great extent. Perhaps maybe Terence could also consider doing that. I mean, like, some of them are already doing that.
Yeah.
Like, not just talking about digital marketing companies, but you think about furniture brands, think about,
Fast food.
fast food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot.
Maybe adding on to Alan's point, I think of course trust is a big factor in
Yeah.
traditional media. But of course, with putting trust aside, I think the audience segment might be different as well. Because when you talk about key opinion leaders, maybe they are of a certain age, but of course when you want to promote certain food, you want maybe their parents to see the ad, or at least to be exposed to the ad. So I think that's where the different medias will come in. It's not really about which media is better, but I think it's having a good mix to promote a product or service.
Yeah, I concur with what Terence has mentioned. So let's say he's driving his family out for dinner. The whole family listens to the radio concurrently. So if the DJ talks about good food, the whole family gets to listen to it. And who knows, the family might be convinced to try out the food that, which the DJ had mentioned, just because of that 2 minute sharing, as opposed to watching a video of a particular KOL, for instance.
So, if you say that only the slightly older generation is the main target audience of all this, how much do the ads differ for them compared to on other platforms like your social media such as Instagram, TikTok, those ones that are catered to a slightly younger audience?
For radio ads, I've done a few before. Okay, not say radio ads, but more on like ad libs, or because I'm also a freelance voice-over artist, so sometimes I can do all those things. The key thing is speed, and you need to be very concise. Yeah, because we're always on the go, and you really need to illustrate what's your key message within 30 seconds, for instance. Yeah, so you cannot be like talking like what we are doing now for a few minutes, 30 seconds or even shorter to convey what you want to sell or trying to market. Yeah.
So usually you'll be the one that has to craft what to say in that period.
Usually the appointed radio personality will have to do his or her homework, and sometimes you also have to blend in with the brands. They have some corporate music. Yeah, some brands they have. McDonald's is the Papa La Papa, right? Something like that. So sometimes you really have to be creative. Yeah, and to the point.
Actually, Terence, I want to ask, would you ever, or would you and can you ever recommend a client to utilize radio, television, or those sort of marketing?
Yeah, I think I will. I mean, a lot depends on the client. What's their profile? What's their budget? And what is their product that they are marketing? But the radio, TV, print, I think these platforms are still here to stay. They are still very important. But I think, of course, for each brand, what is key is that they need to have a good mixture of their advertising spend, and to make sure that they cater to as many people as possible. Yeah, so I think that's key.
All right. So I want to build on an earlier point that I said. I want to ask. It's a better question for you, but I want to ask you first, just
Okay.
for your opinion.
All right.
Not many of the younger generation listen to radio nowadays.
Okay.
Why do you think so? Like, what are your general thoughts on it? But also, how do you think you can get them to listen to more? As someone who's not out in the radio, but you know of it and you're in some sort of marketing sphere.
How to get them to listen more to the radio?
First, what are your thoughts on it? Like, why do you think we aren't listening to it at all?
Okay, I think of course it's a totally different generation, because this is the digital natives. So when you guys were born, the Gen Z, internet was already a big thing, But for my generation, when we grew up, there wasn't the internet. We play around at our housing estate, and we play football at the void deck. This was what we do. There's no YouTube, there's no Netflix or Spotify. Yeah, so I think the younger generation, of course, you grew up differently and you're exposed to different things, and therefore maybe you have your own preference in terms of music intake or films or movies. So of course, for the younger crowd, a better alternative would be some other platforms like Netflix or YouTube, where you can directly access what you like. Yeah, but of course, in terms of mass media or mass broadcast, TV and radio will still be here to stay. So coming to your second question on how to get the young to listen to more radio, I think this is a tough question. I think not only applying to radio, but the TV as well. Yeah, but of course, I think to get them to listen to more radio, probably more curated content, maybe getting some of the KOLs to go onto radio and get them to promote. nowadays I think as a platform itself, it's hard for the radio station or the TV station to grow. But if they can do joint marketing with KOLs or with different companies, maybe that's where they can bring more eyeballs.
Alright, then I want to ask you basically the same question.
Mm.
What do you think about it? How do you think you can get more people to listen to it?
I think similar to what Terence has mentioned earlier, we are talking about the media landscape. So, take for instance, in the 1990s, options were not many. Yeah. So traditional media was leading, or rather, they were more like dominant in a way. But we are in like we are now in 2023, and we are talking about so many platforms. Yeah, and we even have like subscription services now. If I talk about TV, movies, right? Even for radio, we are also doing at least for the radio station that I'm with, they have YouTube channels. They also have podcasts, right? So how do you cater, or rather attract more listeners to listen to radio, right? I think you have to engage them through different events, yeah, or even like collaborations with brands, yeah, and that's also how you can spread your brand awareness, yeah.
Wait, then speaking of that, are you besides being on radio, are you on any other platforms that you actively do similar type of content that you do on radio?
Oh yeah, I also do freelance emceeing, right? And I also right now I'm a full-time student. I'm doing my masters with NTU. So on days that I don't I don't host on radio, I usually do a lot of freelance stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So that also includes curating content such as video or pictures with brand collaborations. Yeah. So I give you one example. Like I can have like a workshop with a few followers or like listeners. Then we can just have a session at one of the brand, one of the location. Yeah. Or it could be just like a giveaway thing. Yeah.
So you spend a lot of your, most of your days kind of recently in here at the NTU itself.
For now,
Yeah, for now. Not forever, but
Yeah.
you kind of have spent a lot of time here. How well do you notice this? Can you tell me about a bit more about the Gaia here? Can you
Yeah.
tell me anything about this? And I've also heard of the Hive. Is it called? What can you tell me about those two places? I've heard they're very popular on like Instagram and so on.
Is this the first time both of you are here? I mean, definitely not for Terence, but for
For me, yes. I didn't even know of any of this thing. I only heard of the name. I didn't even know it was part of a school.
Right. I think for this building that we are here right now, it's called Gaia, right? It's the new business school for NTU. Yeah. And I really like this because firstly, like what Terence mentioned earlier, sustainability, right? Yeah. A lot of we are focusing a lot on like recycling and the 3 R's, right? Yeah. So you can literally smell wood, and we are talking about saving electricity. We are talking about like even if I'm not wrong, the colleagues here, or rather the employees here, they are doing hot desking, that kind of thing. So some of them can even work from home, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So I think we're talking about like that. Yeah. As for the Hive, it's really iconic because even tourists come here to take photos. Did you see them just now?
Just now we saw.
Yeah. And you'll be surprised that some of them even have their bridal shoots. They those wedding photos, right? They can come here because maybe that's how they met each other, right? Yeah. And I don't know, like, would you be keen to take a selfie with the Hive, for instance?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting building.
Yeah. One of my recent interviewees said that the Egyptian carvings really attracted him. Yeah. And he even posted this on Instagram. Yeah.
Wait, then Terence, what's your first impression of like your first time coming to NTU to do projects?
The first time I'm here, I
When we
thought.
met, you mean?
Yeah. I thought. I mean, in terms of the architecture, I thought it looks very good, very unique. It's not every day that you get to see such a building concept. Because if you frequent Raffles Place, it's usually skyscrapers.
Yeah.
But architecture like this, I think it's very nice, very refreshing.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
What I want to ask, I'm hungry. What's good to eat here? I'm suddenly just thinking of food.
Oh, food. Okay. I think maybe the viewers or those listening to this podcast or video, they can even leave some comments below for you guys to try. But of course, I think I have my fair share of having good food in NTU. But of course, I think the prices are getting more expensive nowadays due to inflation maybe. But I think for me, okay, my most favorite food would be from the NIE canteen, right? The National Institute of Education. There's this canteen we have here, and they sell really good prawn noodles. Yeah, I think that couple has worked here for more than 20 years, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, and yeah, it's really good. If I'm not wrong, it's about $3.50. Yeah,
Oh.
for a bowl of like prawn noodles. And guess what? I recommended this on air as well.
Okay, now here's the most important thing about food.
Yeah.
How's the portion size?
You mean like the
For
prawn
the
noodle?
for the prawn noodles, yeah.
It depends on your appetite. Yeah, I think for your age, maybe you have to upsize lah. For me, I think yeah,
Just
350 is
nice.
enough
Just
lah.
nice.
Or maybe for Terence and I,
Yeah.
we are looking at healthy eating.
Yeah.
Healthy.
Smaller
Yeah.
portions.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think all schools should have healthier.
Are you thinking about like prawn noodles now?
Yeah. Do you think all schools should have sort of like healthy eating? There's like every stall should be healthier in some way, shape, or form, like lower portions and everything. For like not just NTU but just schools in general. You Terence are a parent. Your children are currently in primary.
Primary and secondary school.
So
Yeah.
those ones, the government does kind of regulate them a bit, make them a bit
Yeah.
healthier. But once they leave, that they go to tertiary, it does become a little not less healthy, but there's lower regulations
Yeah.
on their food. What do you think about that?
I think, of course, when in primary school and secondary school, of course, there's more regulation because you want them to grow up healthily. Then, but when they go into JCs or polys, then they will have more flexibility to choose what they like. And usually, food that is good, most of the time, not so healthy. Yeah, but I guess it's a give and take. Yeah.
I realize actually the first thing you walk into SP, the first thing you see is always a McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's is the best thing about us. No, it's not. But when you walk into SP, you just look at it and think, man, I love this place already.
Okay, so
But the thing is, I feel that it still boils down to self-discipline. Yeah, because you'll be surprised, while we keep thinking that the younger generation likes sugary stuff, right? There's also this group of people who are very into healthy eating, and they even really calculate how the calories they take on a daily basis.
yeah, I
So-
have to do that.
And I really have to salute some of the younger generation. Why? Because they always bring along their bottles, which I'm very I'm pretty guilty at. Do you have your own bottles? Yeah, you see, this is something that I realized. Do you pick up this habit when like during your schooling days, like your teachers ask you to bring like your own?
I know my CCA. I know CCA.
Terence, do you agree? Like this is
Yeah, I thought it's very good,
Yeah,
very
and
sustainable.
I think it's something that I realized about Gen Z. You guys bring the bottles everywhere you go, and it's like a fashion item.
I think in general, it's kind of the idea that now that we're in this age of where everyone has their voice on the internet, kind of,
Yeah.
those groups that may not have been as loud now have a way to be a bit louder. So so maybe back before the internet and all that, there were a lot of people who were healthy, they just weren't heard as much. But now that these guys have a voice on the platform, it is much easier for them to spread and be heard. So while not every Gen Z is sustainable and eating healthily, it's now easy to know that, hey, there really are people who are starting to eat healthier, are trying their best to promote it to more people, which is, I think, maybe something that wasn't as common in the past, where it was just maybe TV and radio, and those would be focused on talking about things that are most popular to the bigger groups. But now that the people online can talk about anything, just because they're passionate, they can promote these healthier things that maybe not everyone will jive with?
Yeah, like actually for the water bottles, I'd say it's a bit because of habit lah. Because
Your parents ask you to bring it along?
no, not really. It's because of CC actually.
Oh.
Yeah, because in secondary school I was from NCC. Then there of course
You have to
uniform
hydrate
group.
yourself.
Yeah lah, pretend to be soldier must also.
You are going to be a
Yo.
soldier soon, I guess.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Why unfortunately?
It's an honor.
You should look forward to that, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
it's another phase.
Woohoo NS.
Yeah.
Woohoo, NS.
Woohoo.
Sure. So you're I want to wonder this. You're a student. You're kind of a student. We are definitely students ourselves. But you have not been schooling for a long time.
Yep.
But I think you school less than for less than half of your life.
Yeah.
Currently. And yeah, that's very. I don't know. That's very rude to say, but that's yeah. But you do you miss school? And do you miss being back in school?
Me.
Maybe
Alan first.
who's first?
Well, I actually thought for quite some time before I decided to return to campus. Yeah, because I've really been in industry. I mean, not radio, but I mean, I've been doing like comms, PR, marketing for a few years. And I think this is time for me, this is the right time for me to take a career break and also to equip myself with newer knowledge. As you know that, with issues such as globalization, with like, the newest advances of the internet, right? Wow, so many things are changing. And I think I thought I might be useless someday. So it's always good to upgrade myself. Yeah, and yeah, why not? So I actually got enrolled into my master's program now. In fact, I had a private conversation with Terence, and he is also considering, if I'm not wrong.
That's
Ooh,
right.
you
That's
are?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. So looking forward to the intake next year, for the same course, the
Oh,
master's
great.
course. Yeah. So yeah, I do miss being a student because when you're a student, you go to class.
No, you have student card.
Yeah. Then but I think the important thing is you learn new things every day. You start to absorb knowledge,
Yeah.
and with this new information, you can bring it to work and produce better work. Yeah. So I thought that's very important. At my age now, I think it's also like it's like a midpoint check. So I want to pick up new skills and bring it back to work.
In fact, right, I feel that most people would think that after university you would think that you have to work all the way till you retire. But I feel that we kind of like we should take charge of our own priorities and all. And work is not everything. It's just a segment of our life. Yeah. So your career should not dictate who you are totally. If you have some goals or if you have some passion that you want to pursue, go for it.
But is it not more stressful to go back to school as an adult? Because we are full-time students, means we don't really do anything after school. You're a full-time student, but you do part-time work. You're a full-time worker, and you'll be a part-time student.
That's right. Yeah.
How do you balance
Juggle,
that
you
out?
mean?
How do you juggle that out? Juggling a school life, a work life at the same time, and possibly even a social life at the same time. How do you balance that? Maybe you can tell him, even though it is slightly different. You're a part-time worker.
Yeah.
But how is that like?
I think this question is really great. For me, because I've been through like part-time student, part-time, or full-time. Now I'm doing full-time with NTU, right? But I think really you have to be very disciplined. Yeah, and time management is crucial. Yeah, when I mean crucial, you really have to. For me, I usually have a to-do list. I need to go and like look at my schedule, like what's the to-do list for today, and you have to plan things in advance. Yeah, sometimes you are on radio, sometimes you have some work to do, sometimes you have this, you have that, and not to forget, as we are working, our parents are also aging. We also have to spend time with our family and loved ones as well. And if you are married, you have kids, your commitments just get more and more, right?
That's
I
right.
think Harris will agree with me on that. So, rather as an advice for him, but I feel that he will definitely do well. I mean, yeah, with his expertise, but take it with an open mind. Yeah, like you can also get to know more people, you know, network with other people, step out of your comfort zone and learn new things. If you are good in marketing, maybe through this course you find that you are also interested in video production, or maybe you are interested in perhaps journalism. Yeah.
Then are there any new like hobbies or interests or particular skills that you found like you picked up, or hey you found out that hey I like to do this?
Oh wow, Justin, this is interesting. Maybe you share yours later with me. For me, I am learning a third language, which is Thai. And if you guys listen to my radio show, Pepper is my Thai name. Hence the segment called Pepper 好介绍, right? Yeah. So for that reason, if you ask me why Thai, right? Because my dad speaks Thai as well. I mean, we are not like native Thai or like half Thai or what, but for me, I love the culture and I love the food. Oh my god, do you guys love Thai food?
Yeah.
Actually never tried before.
You should, you should. Yeah. I mean, anyway, if you love traveling, you can consider going to Thailand, you know, someday. But the point is, this is also another way to make ourselves more marketable. Yeah, like a lot of people are learning Korean now as well. Maybe with more people watching K-dramas, you know, or Netflix, or you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, for me, maybe I might consider working there short term in Thailand, or you know, start up a cafe there when I'm, you know, maybe like 5 years later or something like that. So we don't know what will you know, happen to us. Yeah. So I think take one step at a time and just go with what you like.
Actually, speaking of third languages, Jordan, I heard that you are also learning one.
I heard that you're also learning one.
Yeah.
So I think it's about time that Justin, you start learning one. Why are languages becoming so popular? Why is learning another language becoming so popular?
I think this is more of culture appreciation, and don't you think like this is to lessen the boundary between people? Yeah, and you get to experience their culture, talk in their language, and also experience how life is like for them. Yeah, and that will make it more personable.
I feel like I'm missing out now.
You're obviously out. Terence, why are you learning another language? What are you learning?
For me,
French, is it? Or
no, I'm learning Malay.
Malay?
Melayu,
Oh.
so Bahasa Melayu. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, is after I turned 40, I decided that I want to pick up one new skill or one new initiative every year. So 2 years back, I picked up Rubik's Cube. So I started to do some cubing.
Nice.
Then so last year, I decided I wanted to do Malay language. Yeah, so that's where I started to enroll, and actually it's been a while. I've always wanted to go deeper into Malay. So I thought now I have the opportunity, why not?
I think two benefits. Number one, I mean, we are able to connect with our Muslim friends, you know, easier. Yeah. And secondly, I think because Malay language consists of alphabets. Yeah. As compared to Thai, I think you will faint. You know, with so maybe that's more doable in a sense. I feel.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is that now that we are more exposed to not just other people in our country, just via social media, but also just the people from other countries, other media, TV shows, whatever. We are more interested in learning the language of the things that we like consuming. So you're trying to learn it because you like because your family speaks Thai. But I'm guessing, do you watch any Thai dramas yourself?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
To see how they speak. Oh, I listen to Thai music.
Oh.
Yeah. And okay, this is maybe just for me, but I feel that it really calms me down sometimes. Yeah, because of the culture and the instruments they use and all. So it's not that noisy. I don't know whether noisy is a right word to use, but really it really soothes you, calms you down. And I also have a Spotify playlist, and it also consists of some Thai songs. Yeah.
So I myself, I'm learning Japanese because I've consumed a lot of Japanese media over my lifetime. I thought it's very, it is an interesting language to try to learn it. But you can see a lot of people are learning Korean as well because of the explosion of K-pop, K-drama, just Korean anything.
Yeah.
So
The K sensation. Yeah.
So that all comes back to learning, which I think it's great that the schools now, the tertiary schools are letting us learn languages outside of our native language, our core languages here in this country. They're letting us take Thai. I've seen my poly anyway. They let us take as an elective. They can take Japanese, Korean, Thai, but you can also take the simple Chinese and Malay as well.
Do you have to write? Or just have to, it's like spoken?
So there's for the electives there's usually different segments.
Mm.
So one segment would be written, then another one would be like a role play where you have to converse with someone in that given language.
I see.
So yeah, it's usually a mix.
Terence, I want to ask you. You're learning a language.
Yep.
You run a company and you're about to start schooling.
Yes.
But beyond that, you also have a family.
That's right.
How are you preparing yourself for that? Because things like school, you as students will have period of time where we say, oh, we need to focus more on school. So
Assignments
we'll
and
drop
all.
maybe our hobbies, our time. We'll start spending more time in school studying. But you, since you run a business, you can't just say I don't want to focus so much on this because there's always business to be made. You can't just not focus anything on it. How do you plan to balance out school, your family, your learning a language and other skills, and your business as well?
I think like what Alan shared earlier, I think time management is important. You really need to plan out what you want to accomplish for the day. So not just the Mondays to Fridays, but the weekends as well. So you got to plan it out so that you can fit in different aspects of your life, your family, your work, your studies, your extracurriculum or your hobbies. You know, you piece them into your week. I think you got to manage it that way. There's no other ways. Of course, you cannot have your cake and eat it, right? There will be things that you will lose out. So maybe in terms of some entertainment or maybe like for me, I'm a keen photographer, so I like to take pictures, but that has taken a backseat. Yeah, so there are some things that you got to sacrifice.
I think I second that. You know, in terms of make time for those you love. There's always you can always do something about it if you care for something, be it a person or a thing or even your studies. Yeah.
There's always people that you have to give time to, not just your own personal self. Also.
Yeah, because I think the similarity between the four of us is that we all have 24 hours. I mean, I don't have 40, you don't have 50, but we all have 24. But it's really depending on how you divide these 24 hours for, a fraction for work, a fraction for your family and loved ones, and perhaps a fraction for your hobbies too. Yeah.
So I want to talk back a bit about work again. You're currently a student, but you are most known for, not most known, but you do a lot of work in
Other areas.
other areas. I guess you would say like entertainment is one of those. You are
Okay.
in the media, but traditionally for us, at least a lot of in the past and maybe nowadays some of the more traditional parents, they would never, not just not approve, but they wouldn't recommend entertainment as a job, as an industry to enter because they think it's not stable and they would rather
Unrealistic.
they would rather you take more proper sort of join a company, stay in there for many years, climb the ranks and so on.
Right.
What do you think? I want to ask both of you because you're someone with children. This is a route that they may possibly take. What are your thoughts on them? I also want to know yours as someone in the industry. So Terence, how about you first?
Yeah.
What do you think about if your children wanted to do this?
Like what? Maybe
Like
a singer?
Yeah,
Or
entertainment
Yeah,
industry.
maybe they want to be an actor, a singer, maybe a DJ exactly like you.
Oh, okay.
Or if you have any expectations for your children, what expectations do you have for them?
No expectations at all. In fact, whatever that they want to do, that they like to do, as parents, I think we will support them. Yeah. So if they want to choose a career in the entertainment industry, I think we will support them. But I think importantly is they have to enjoy what they're doing, so that it's not just so that it doesn't become work. It's their passion, it's what they love to do, and I think that's important.
For me, I think mindsets are changing, times are changing, right? Environment is changing day by day as well. And the jobs that you saw yesterday might not be available today. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say or bring across is that we are all different. We are all talented in our own ways. And I would say that to answer this question, it really depends on your innate talents and also what you're passionate about. Yeah. So if you're passionate in radio, you will definitely do something to carve something for yourself. Yeah. What's your passion? I mean, you
Still figuring out. I think.
yeah, it is perfectly normal. Yeah. So I think to answer this, you do not need to really like narrow yourself into just by giving yourself a few options. Yeah. Just try and see what's good for you.
And I want to ask, you're currently studying mass comm.
Yeah.
You study mass comm. Did you study mass comm before in your? Did you do uni? Did you do poly? Or did you get a diploma?
I actually hold a bachelor's in communications.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is also to.
Yeah. So you're getting a master's in it.
Yeah.
You're furthering your studies in that.
Yeah.
Is that really necessary for your job? I guess. Is one, is the master's necessary, and two, is it necessary to have communications at all
Right.
to do media? I guess.
Okay. Firstly, I don't think it's necessary for me to do that. But why did I do that? Why? I think number one, I mentioned earlier, is to give myself some time to rethink, and also to learn what are some of the latest trends, pertaining to the comms area or marketing or PR industry. Yeah. And secondly, I want to also get to know people of like-minded ones, right? To also share their passion, and seeing how successful they are may also make me motivated. Yeah, I think that's very important as well. Yeah, if you ask me, is it compulsory? No. In fact, I pay my school fees on my own. It's not very cheap, but if you ask me if it's worth it, I think yes, it's worth it.
But what about having mass comm in the first place? Was that necessary to enter the industry?
Oh, okay, yeah. You mean for radio?
I guess any sort of media, talent, entertainment industry.
Yeah, but in your case, radio lah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I would ask you a rhetorical question instead. Do you think it's necessary to have comms or media diploma or degree in order to be like a media, like a social media influencer? I don't think so. I think some housewives don't have degrees or what in media, but they are influencers. So I don't think that's compulsory. But of course, if you are trying to find a job, a corporate job in comms or in PR or marketing, you really need that, I would say, the portfolio, or to prove that you're competent. Yeah, because you are not serving yourself, you are serving the company. So having the necessary skill sets are also important. Yeah, but of course, if you are a starter, if you are a startup, having a comms or maybe a media degree or diploma might help, because that can also help you to guide your employees and your co-workers if they have some issues at work.
What about people who aren't students anymore? People like Terence, who has worked in a completely different field for a long time. He has portfolio, but not necessarily very strongly related to media. Do you think someone like him can easily become, not easily, but become the face of media or something like that?
Oh, that would depend on his interests. Yeah, because I have some friends who are really knowledgeable, but they just don't like to be in the limelight. Yeah, I have some friends who like to enjoy doing research work. Yeah, and also some may just like to be data scientists, right? Yeah, I mean, comms is so broad. And if you ask me, is it necessary to have a degree in media to be a radio DJ? The answer is no. Yeah, I have some friends, some other colleagues who are in engineering, and they are also doing radio. Yeah, some are just, I think if I'm not wrong, is a Chinese studies, kind of qualification. Yeah, I think most importantly, you need to have a radio voice, and your voice must sound pleasant, this is what I learned from a radio senior. Yeah, really need to be, yeah.
Then do any of us here have a radio voice?
Wow, this is a very tough question. I don't think I can answer this, but I feel it really sometimes it's not for me to evaluate. It's more for the public to whether they can accept you as a personality. Yeah. So to answer your question, a person who can talk well does not mean that he or she is a good maybe a good radio personality. Yeah.
Terence, is this something that you are ever considering? Would you ever consider?
Not really.
Would you like the limelight?
No, I don't think I'm cut out for that job. Yeah.
I mean, he thinks it is fully possible to do something like
Anyone
this.
is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you need to have the character, slightly more extroverted probably. Yeah.
Wait, so Terence, you consider yourself an introvert or extrovert?
Definitely introvert.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, then what about you actually? Are you introverted or extroverted?
Let's call myself an ambivert, both introvert and extrovert, depending on the situation. Do you have to be an extrovert to be on media, to be on the air?
In fact, this is a good question. I mean, for me, the current me, right? I am both. Yeah. Sometimes I really need to be extroverted. Yeah. But on the other hand, when I really need to have some me time, I will change mode to become an introvert. Yeah. But when I was your age, I think I was pretty much an extrovert. Yeah. But it really depends on your definition of an introvert and extrovert. Yeah. Some people just define extroverts as people who love to talk. Yeah. But it might not be the case. Yeah.
So I want to ask one last thing before we wrap it up here. How would you like to give some tips to anyone who wants to enter this industry? Not just those who may be studying and may think, oh, I want to take this course and maybe I can go here, but even those who are slightly older who think, oh, is this a possibility for me? Do you have any advice? Do you have any tips for them?
Oh, you mean to join media,
Yeah, to
radio,
join
or?
anything at all? Media or radio or whatever you feel comfortable.
Sure, I can share first. Maybe Terence can also share, like, in order to enter digital marketing or something related to his portfolio, what are some of the necessary skill sets? Maybe I just share some tips. Maybe, like, let's say if you want to be a radio DJ, what are some of the ways you can do, right? You can prepare a demo, like, a demo, and you send to the radio station for them to see whether you are fit for that job. Yeah. So that also includes, like, news reading. So you pretend that you are reading news, and you can also talk about a 2 to 3 minute kind of like a short talk set. We call it talk set, yeah. And I think they will evaluate to see whether you are engaging enough. Yeah. So the rest is all one word: lucky or not. Luck. Yeah.
Terence, what about you? What are your tips for people to join?
Like digital marketing industry. I think qualifications are not important at all. I think what is
this is quite interesting to know.
Yeah.
Because always people, they would think that the conventional way of thinking is that you really need to have.
Actually,
like,
not really. I think what is important is you need to have a inquisitive mind.
Yeah.
You need to
be curious.
Be curious. You need to read up online. You need to do a lot of practice, and then then over time, over many different campaigns, I think you become more competent in what you do. I think that is key. Especially in digital marketing, it's always changing. If you compare Facebook now with Facebook 10 years ago, there's so many new things happening. So as a marketer, you cannot be happy with where you are now. You got to constantly unlearn and relearn and then practice new things.
Then what do you think about those who are actually pursuing the current track and like it's just built towards where they want to be in digital marketing?
Yeah,
do you think it's an add-on or what do you
I think it's a good base to start off with if you are in digital marketing course or school. It gives you a good base to really go into an agency or to work for a company and to practice digital marketing. But of course, you cannot be happy with where you are. You got to constantly learn new stuff.
Yeah, and with that, I think that is a good place to wrap it up here. I want to thank our guests here, Terence and Alan. Thank you guys for coming on for this episode. This has been the Just Click podcast. Thank you so much for watching. You can find the social medias for iClick in the description. And is there anything you'd like to shout out?
Well, if you are interested to improve your Mandarin, no, I'm not a teacher here, but just you can tune into my show as well. Yeah, we can put it in the description as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you can find everything in the description below. But otherwise, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll
Thanks for
see you
having me.
guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.